This is Cindy Bobadilla with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program at the University of Florida, here at the Jerkins High School Reunion, July 14, 2012, with Mr. Benny Goodman.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Can you please spell and say your name for me?
Spell?
Yes.
B-E-N-N-Y, Goodman, G-O-O-D-M-A-N.
And Mr. Goodman, where and when were you born?
November 5th, 1940.
Where?
Perry, Florida.
Perry, Florida. And you graduated class of
58.
58 at Jerkins.
Jerkins,
Can you tell me about your early school years?
Wow, early school years? It was a rough year. It was rough.
What was so rough?
I had a problem with stammer. I stammered all through school, and it was rough trying to get through everything. But I made it.
You made it?
Yeah, you know what stammer means, right? Stutter?
Oh, stuttering.
Yeah, stutter. Stuttering. I had a problem with it, but I was able to get over everything and, you know, do my homework, do my work and everything, but all the kids made fun of me, but I lived through it.
And you started at Jerkins throughout your entire school?
Oh, yeah.
And what were the difference between your early years and your later high school years?
Difference? Well, we went to school in churches. We didn't have a school building. We had to go to churches, you know, and there wasn't no heat and lunches and stuff like that. It was pretty rough.
It was just class?
Yeah. And you might have had first grade, second grade all in the same class at one time. Best I can remember, you know. But it wasn't this Jerkins. It just, you go to church, you know, churches, you know. Can't remember what the name of the churches where we were, but it had to walk. You know, some church would let the school use it, but didn't have a building. I can't remember what year they built that building that day either. Okay, 1950, I believe, but I'm not sure.
And do you have any favorite teachers, or do you remember any specific teachers?
Coach Turner, he was the science teacher, and he was instrumental in getting my speech on track by, you know, helping me stop, and he would tell me to stop and think about what I'm gonna say first before I try to rattle it off, you know. And I started practicing that, and all of a sudden I grew out of it. But I was in the military before it happened. Before I realized I was talking.
You were in the military before you realized you were talking?
Yeah, I was in the service. I said, dang, I could talk. But I had gone through school and everything. Yeah, I remember one time that I think we was about in 11th or 12th grade. We all had to recite a poem. And I just know nobody couldn't wait for me to get up there to say, because they were going to make fun of me. But you know what they call rapping now? You know this stuff they do now, rapping, what they call rapping. But I practiced that poem by doing this. And I started saying the poem. Old man going along the highway, came in evening cold and gray, through a chasm vast, deep and wide, through which will flow a sudden tide. And they just looked, and everything just came right out. But I remember that very well. But I got an A.
And what class was that?
It was I guess I don't know what class it was, but we had to say this poem, probably English class or something like that. Had to say a poem. And they just couldn't wait for me to get up there to say that poem. I was good at everything that I didn't have to say anything, like writing and, you know, taking a test. I could do that, but I couldn't get up in front of a class, you know, because I couldn't talk. But I could sing.
Do you remember how big your classes were? How many students there were?
21. That's what finished. 21.
Oh, your class graduated with
21, right.
And can you tell me some memorable moments during, like, once you moved into the building at Jerkins?
Well, no, I can say one thing. I was the person that operated the video equipment, that the movie projector, and I anytime they had to use a camera or something, I was the one that do it. And I got out a lot of classes doing that, and I was a favorite for all the teachers because of this or something, you know. And I remember getting a present from every teacher in school. And I remember I didn't have to buy no invitations because I didn't have any money, and they knew it, you know. So it was something like that. But I was probably like a likable guy at the time, you know. And I sang, you know, but I couldn't talk, you know. But That's how it went.
Do you remember any projects that you worked on? Like films or?
Nah, that's been 70 years ago. I don't think we had projects back in those days. I don't remember nothing like that. No. Field trips, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't remember that kind of stuff. No.
And
really don't. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the years when integration started?
Nope, wasn't here.
You weren't here?
Not when it started.
You had already graduated?
Yeah, I had graduated then, but before when that happened, I remember we lived right around the corner over here. My house was, and there was some white families back over this way, but when school in the afternoon, we all played ball together. Played ball together and everything, and there was a grocery store in the corner owned by Mr. Noley, and I used to go over there, and matter of fact, I used to go to hunting with him. He used to say, go ask your mother, can you go hunting with me? But guess what I did? I retrieved the birds when he shot them. I think they would call them doves, quails or something like that. He would shoot the birds and I would go get them. But that didn't dawn on me. That's something I was doing, and he would give me a couple of dollars, take this money home to your mama. So I take the money home to mama. And I realized later on down the line that everybody else had dogs to go do that. But that wasn't nothing for me to think that he was doing that to me because of a black or white thing. I never thought about it like that. But that's what I did. And he'll say, come go to hunting with me. Ask your mama, can you go hunting? And I go hunting. And he'd give me a couple of dollars and I was happy. And every time I come home, I go to see him. It's a little store right, used to be on the corner right over there.
It's not there anymore?
No, it ain't there no more. And I think he all gone too. And I don't remember about the integration thing because we went to Jerkins, and I guess when I left, that's when it all happened, you know. And I don't remember no kind of bad stuff. Nothing like that, no.
And how do you feel now reuniting with all your classmates?
Oh yeah, I don't see them. It's fun, you know, to see them all and everything, you know. And they looking at me and saying, "Well, you haven't changed a bit," even though I would be 72 my next birthday. And I feel great, you know, seeing them and everything. You know, I almost didn't make it because my wife's family was supposed to have a reunion in Denver, and it was planning that, but that didn't happen. So then I was able to come.
Can you tell me the name of your wife?
Can I tell you what?
The name?
Oh, my wife's name is Patricia. Patricia, somebody calling me. That's my daughter. Call you back in a minute, Pete. She calling me lost.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 biological and 2 step. And I have 1 grandchild and 4 step grandchildren.
Can you name your children?
Can I name my grandson's name is Jawan. And I have 4 other grandchildren. I have 1 grandson named after me. They named him LaFell, which is my middle name. And his sister's a twin named Gabriella. Then I have 1 named Jimmy and 1 named JT. We can name it Joseph, but we call him JT. He's 22 months.
And your children?
Celine and Tyra. Those are my biological. Then I have Gail and Lakeisha, who's my stepchildren.
And where and when did your wife and you meet?
On the job. We work for the telephone company. And this is my second wife.
Oh, this is the second wife?
Yeah, my second wife. She and I met on the job. And my first wife and I were married 23 years. And my second wife and I have been married about 29 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
And where did you meet your first wife?
In Florida, Tallahassee.
What were you doing in Tallahassee?
Working in a restaurant. And I was young, working in a restaurant, and she was working in a clothing store. That's how we met, yeah.
So after Jerkins, what did you do after that?
After Jerkins, I went to Ocala, Florida, and worked at the Silver Spring amusement park, Silver Spring. They had a restaurant there, waited tables. I was about 16. And my father lived there, so I went to live with him for a while. And about a month or 2 later, my mother's youngest brother lived in Detroit, so he came down and decided to take me back up to Detroit, and I stayed there about 5, 6, 7 months. I didn't like it too fast, so I had to come back.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
9. 2 passed on me. It's 9 of us.
Can you name them for me?
Could I name them? Yeah, my oldest brother's name is Robert. My older sister name is Shirley. She's the mayor. She used to be the mayor here in Perry. Shirley Scott. And as a matter of fact, they just named the park after her. That's my, I'd have a brother named Wally, but he's passed on. That's his third child. I'm the fourth. Then I have a brother named Clyde, and he passed. My next sister name is Cholula. She lives in Mariana. She's here. Then I have a sister named Pamela and one named Rhonda, who's also here.
And you all went to Jerkins?
Yeah, everybody went to Jerkins. And we all here except for Teddy, the baby brother. He didn't make it because his wife had a medical condition that they couldn't travel. So.
And what was like growing up with all your brothers and sisters?
Oh, it was Bobby, the oldest one, he had gone into the service when I was growing up. And my sister Pat, she was going away to college, so it was pretty good. I was the oldest at the house, so I learned how to take care of everybody. I learned how to cook, wash, and everything, clean house, because I was the oldest one.
You lived with just your mom? Or
my mom, yeah, my father had left there. And it was just the rest of us there, about 7 of us there. And I had to take care of them. Clean house, cook, feed them. And that's what I do right now. I still cook and iron. Except for wash clothes. I don't know how to wash clothes that well no more. Yeah.
And can you tell me some of the jobs you had growing up?
Well, as a kid, I used to carry papers, newspapers. And I worked in a 10-cent store. I worked for Winn-Dixie. I also worked for a nursery. In that we planted, matter of fact, I think I planted a lot of grass in Perry. For the subdivision for houses growing up, we used to plant grass by hand. I've done that. And then I used to cook in restaurants, like a short order cook. I did that, yeah. But when I went into service, I went in communication, and that's where I winded up. Telephone company.
What year did you go into service?
In 1961.
You did communications?
Yeah, in the service, but I didn't do it. They trained me how to be a Morse code operator, and that was very fascinating because that's what I sounded like. I stuttered, and I was really good. I covered 25 words a minute. They spent a lot of money on me, but I did not do it.
Why not?
Well, at the time, my first child was my wife was pregnant with her 7 months. I was supposed to go to Europe, but they wouldn't send me because she was 7 months pregnant. So they sent me to Fort Jackson, where I was at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So I stayed there and I taught the class, the Morse code class. And then when she was about to have the baby, they were going to send me to Texas, but they kept me there for a while. Then the baby was born. Then they wound up sending me to Texas. Morse code, nobody knew it but me. So what good was that? Then the Cuban crisis broke out. And they put me on an airplane and sent me to Fort Stewart, Georgia, to go down to Guantanamo to fight Castro. You remember this Cuban crisis? And the only thing I could think about was that somebody was going to die because I could not talk on the microphone. My job was Morse code, and nobody knew it but me. So I prayed. Lord, please don't let this war slide, happen, because if you do, somebody's going to die, because I'm not going to be able to communicate with nobody, with a microphone, and I'm trying to say, do something about some firepower or something. They weren't going to get it, because nobody knew Morse code but me. So it didn't happen. Kennedy came down and told us that Khrushchev turned the ships back. And at that time, the band director had came down or something, and they started playing, and then the guys started singing, and all of a sudden the band director said this sounded good. And when we went back to Texas, they decided to create a band and singing group, like a choir or something, voice, So it took him about 2 months to get the voices that he wanted. And that's why I wound up in the band. For the rest of my military career, I was a singer. I sung with this band for 18 months or whatever time I had left. Morse code went down the tubes. So my prayer was answered.
And what can you say was the most you got out of being in the service? Like, how did it help you shape the way you are today?
I can say the discipline that you have for yourself. A job, being committed to it, something to that effect. And I stayed with the telephone company for 37 years. And I contributed that to the training that I got probably from the military as being disciplined, you know, within myself, you know, and I enjoyed it, you know. I winded up, as a matter of fact, I'm still working today.
You're still what he's doing?
Telephone, I'm still doing it, but not full time. I just do it whenever they need. They call me up and say, we got a job, so and so and so and so, can you do it? I say yes or no, then more time I say yes. Matter of fact, I'm leaving Monday to go into a place in Virginia.
In Virginia? For
2 nights, yeah. My wife said, you got to be out of your mind, but I love it.
And where are you living now?
In Landover, Maryland.
Maryland?
Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C.
How is that different from Perry?
Oh, shoot, you can't compare. You can't compare that. There's nothing in Perry, you know. I'm a member of one of the churches in Maryland. We used to be in D.C., Turner Memorial, and I sing with the men's choir. And we do a lot of visiting different churches and stuff, and I enjoy it. I do a lot of funerals. I sing at funerals. Matter of fact, I sung today at a funeral. I sing at funerals a lot, you know. It's something I love doing. My wife thinks I'm would say possessed. No. People ask me to sing, and I say, okay, you know, I just do it, you know. Yeah, it's fun.
So you enjoy singing?
Oh, yeah, because I never could talk, so it just got to me, you know. That's something I like to do. People say, oh, you sound good, and I just do it.
And about your children, how can you, what did you try raising them differently than how you were raised? Well,
I didn't beat them, didn't spank them. I talked, you know, let them know what was right and wrong. In a sense, you know, where I guess it worked, because that's what they do, you know. Kind of discipline with words, you know, in action and the way you do things. And I'm pretty sure, you know, it rubbed off on them, you know. My dad this, my dad that, and, you know, like if you talk to my kids, my dad never beat me, but I wish they had something like that for the things I say to them or something, you know. Instill in them just that way and the other, and they remember it, you know. But as a kid growing up, I got a beating for what I did, you know. And I just said I had to raise my kids different, and I think it worked, you know. Put them in church, and if they don't go, I took them. Now they're grown now, so I can't make them go, you know, but they do.
What do they do now?
My oldest daughter's a nurse, and my second daughter is a daycare provider, my biological ones. And my oldest stepdaughter, she works in a restaurant, she's a manager. And my baby stepdaughter works at a medical supply company that I think she kind of runs into some office manager or something, yeah. My wife is retired. Yeah.
And before she retired?
She was worked for a telephone company. Yeah.
And you worked together?
Yeah, well, when they broke it, I don't know if you remember about them breaking up the bell system. When they broke up the bell system, she went one way and I went the other, so to speak. Like, she went with Verizon, which is the line, you know, the dial tone. When you order a number, they provided the dial tone, and I went with AT&T, which provided the telephone set. So I installed the phones, and she gave me the line, so to speak. But before they broke us up, we were working together.
And your wife came to Jerkins too? Or?
No, she's from North Carolina. No, I met her up in Washington. Yeah, she knew nothing about Jerry. No.
How'd you guys meet?
On the job. I got transferred to her district, and we got to talking, and one thing led to another. She's a single parent, I'm a single parent. We raising 2 kids, 2 girls, and yeah, one thing led to another. Which was all good. Yeah.
And how do you describe your childhood to your children?
Oh, you know what? That's funny. I don't kind of. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, because it never comes. I just tell them something. I might say something about when I was little. I used to do that, but it's kind of. I don't describe it. I don't guess. You know, kind of hard to answer that. That's a rough question there. I had a good childhood though. I ain't gonna complain. You know. I complain. Yeah. My mom was good. You know, I was 14 when she died, but I can remember the things she taught me, you know. Yeah, make a cake, fry some chicken, and whatever. She taught me how to do all that, yeah.
And when she passed, who did you go live with?
No, we wouldn't have that. My oldest brother, he was here. We all stayed together, which was a good thing. We raised each other.
Here in Perry.
Yeah, here in Perry. Yeah, that was good. Like, one uncle said, gonna take this. No, didn't work. We stayed together. Because my older sister was in college at the time. And she dropped out and, stay home to help and everything, Then way by and by, as I got older, when, started going to school, started working a little part-time job, she started going back to college, and I would give her the money that I made to catch the bus and buy tickets and whatever. And she'd tell you right today, that's what helped her get through. Yeah.
How old were you when you left Perry?
16. Because I was 16 when I finished school. I was the youngest thing in the class. Yeah. So I was 16. Yeah. That was young, wasn't it? Yeah.
And how can you sum up your experience at Jerkins?
Well, how can I sum it up? Thank God for Jerkins. It's not there anymore. And I did graduate, got my high school diploma, but the remembrance or whatever, it's pretty rough. I wasn't the smartest cat in the class, I'll tell you that, but I did graduate, I did graduate. My experience at Jerkins was just that. I was well liked by all the teachers from the elementary school on down, on up. I knew them all. They all knew me, and it was a good experience, Right? And I just, one teacher wrote in a book that I had said, many may receive advice, but only the wisest profit from it. And I think I live by that to this day. I forgot what teacher wrote that, but one of them did. And I remembered it.
What's some advice you would like to pass on to students now?
Oh man, just listen to your teacher, and don't do anything that your parents wouldn't want you to do. Just because this peer pressure thing, is kind of rough on kids now. But just listen to your parents and follow the advice of your students, of your teachers. Back in them days, it was pretty rough, It's kind of hard to say something to students now because it's the way they learn, and they learn differently from what my 8-year-old granddaughter can get on the internet faster than anything anybody ever seen, and I can't even do that. So it's kind of rough, but just pay attention to your teachers. That's all I can say. And stay out of trouble. Okay?
I forgot my question.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, and on behalf of the Samuel Proctor History Program.
Okay.
University of
I
Florida.
hope I was helpful to you.
Is there anything else you'd like to add once you're done with stop the recording?
No, I'm cool. Thank you for even inviting me to talk. I'm glad I didn't stutter very much.